Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Namo Vishnupada, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Śrīmati Bhakti-Vikāsa Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupada, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Śrīmati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all for this Brahma-saṁhitā discussions. Today we are Shloka 49. Just share the screen with you so we can read it. Okay, there is something. Text 49. Bhasvan yatasma sakaleshu nijeshu tejas sviyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tadvadatra brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhana karta govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Text 49 translation. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom the separated subjective portion, Brahma, receives his power for the regulation of the mundane world, just as the sun manifests some portions of his own light in all the effulgent gems that bear the names of Surya Kanta, etc. So today's shloka is explaining Brahma's position in relation to Krishna. We already heard Durga's relation and dependence on Krishna, on Mahavishnu. We heard Shiva's relation, dependence on Mahavishnu. We heard Kshirakashe and Mahavishnu's relation to Krishna. And we heard how Krishna is superior to all of those. So today, Brahma is described. That shloka says, I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom the separated subjective portions, Brahma, receive his powers for regulation of mundane world. So Brahma is not independent. Here he is declared that he gets power from Krishna. He gets power from how? Just as the sun manifests some portion of his own light in all the effulgent gems that bear the names of Surya Kanta and etc. So now the difference between previous rulers of the planets, Durga, Shiva, Gunavatar, Kshirakashay Vishnu, Garbhodakashay Vishnu, or Mahavishnu. The difference now we are discussing is Brahma is completely different. Why? Because he is Jiva Tattva. He's a Jiva. Brahma is a post which pious soul can occupy. So this is the difference of discussion. But he is empowered by the Lord. That's why it's called Guna Avatar. He's empowered to do particular function. Okay, so we'll see the purport and then we'll see the commentaries. Brahma is two types. In certain kalpas, when the potency of the Supreme Lord infuses himself in an eligible jiva, the later acts in the office of Brahma and creates the universe. In those kalpas, when no eligible jiva is available, after the Brahma of the previous kalpa is liberated, Krishna, by the process of allotment of his own potency, creates Brahma, who has the nature of avatar, the sense of the divinity in the active mundane principles, Rajagun. So two types of Brahma. One is Jiva, also empowered by the Lord, and then sometimes Lord himself takes post of the Brahma if qualified Jiva is not there. By principle, Brahma is superior to ordinary Jivas, but it is not the direct divinity. Brahma is Jiva, but is a special Jiva, is empowered. Is empowered, and you can see out of the 50 qualities of 64 qualities of Krishna, Jiva can manifest up to 50. But Brahma and Shiva, they may do few more, 5 more extra of that, empowered. He is specially empowered to do the function, to do the service in the universe. But he is not direct divinity, means he is not Vishnu Tattva, that's for sure. The divine nature is present in a greater measure in Shambhu than in Brahma. So we understand that Shiva is always superior to Brahma. Although in the Leela, within material world, Shiva may come out of anger of Brahma's forehead, but that doesn't mean that Brahma created Shiva or that Shiva is inferior to Brahma. Remember, Shambhu existed far before Brahma. was manifested on the lotus. And also the Shiva Tattva is different. Shiva is not Jiva Tattva. So in that way also, Shiva is superior. The fundamental significance of the above is that the aggregate of 50 attributes belonging to the Jiva are present in a fuller measure in Brahma. So even these 50 qualities of Jiva can manifest. Brahma also manifests in Brahma, but even in him, they are manifested in the better degree or more refined. Even out of 64 qualities of Krishna, we say 50 can be manifested by Jiva, but even these 50 are not manifested exactly as they are manifested in Krishna. So here are present in fuller measure in Brahma, who possesses in a lesser degree 5 more attributes which are not found in Jivas. But in Shambhu, both the 50 attributes of Jiva as also the 5 additional attributes found in Brahma are present in even greater measures than in Brahma. So here a little discussion is of the nature of Brahma. Brahma is clearly fixed here, defined as a Jiva, not comparable even to Shiva, what to speak of being compared to Vishnu, what to speak of comparing it to Krishna. Okay, so these 2 types of Brahmas are discussed, and here Srila Jiva Goswami explains this, that as this analogy, just as the sun gives to small degree, sun reveals in the shining objects. What is shining? Can any shining object shine without sun? No, cannot. They are reflecting the sun. Moon is reflecting the rays of the sun. Anything gold is reflecting the rays of the sun. So this diamond, Surya Kanta, particularly the shining gems, jewelry, because of sun, they are effulgent. So similarly, Krishna's powers are seen in Brahma as a reflection. In this way, he is in power. Okay. This verse also, Srila Jiva Goswami can refer to original Brahma, the Adi Brahma. Remember, we were discussing Adi Devatas, who lives in the coverings of the universe or who stays around Mahavishnu in Karna ocean. The Adi Brahma who gives qualities to all the Brahmas within the universe. So the shloka can refer to him also. Even he is empowered by Krishna. He has no power on his own. Even he is empowered, just like sun reflects his rays in the shining jewels. So that can refer, Srila Jiva Goswami can refer to Shiva, Adi Shiva also in that sense. So then the principle applies to the whole universes automatically, because Brahma, Adi Brahma gives his qualities, the powers, the energies invested in those demigods, those jivas who appear within the universe. So that also shows that superiority even of Adi Brahma. Okay, what else we have? So anyway, the point is clear that all of them depend on the Krishna for performing their functions. So again, we are going to Chaitanya Charitamrita for the further explanations of Brahma's position. So here in Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find the shloka, Bhakti Mishra Krita Punye Kona Jivotama Rajagune Vibhavita Karitandra Mana. Because of his pious activities mixed with devotional service, Bhakti Mishra. If somebody performs Mishra Bhakti, the first class living entity is influenced by the mode of passion within his mind. The jiva becomes influenced by Rajagun. Then what happens? Garbhodaka Shai Dwara Shakti Sancharin, Vyashti Srishti Kare Krishna Brahma Rupadhari. Such a devotee is empowered by Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. In this way, an incarnation of Krishna in the form of Brahma engineers the total creation of the universe. So here Chaitanya Charitamrita explains who becomes Brahma. You can become Brahma if you practice Bhakti, Mishra Bhakti, but you have desire to control, to create. You become Brahma. So there is a risky business. Some people think in spiritual life, if I become temple president or manager or some kind of zonal secretary, zonal acharya, whatever, then I'm very advanced. You can be very advanced, up to the post of Brahma, the highest post within the material universe, but doesn't guarantee they'll go home back to Godhead, Why? Because Jiva, even Brahma, is a jiva who had material desires. That's why he is born in material world. Prabhupada said, Brahma has desire to create, to control. Therefore, he is born in material world. This is different discussion of Brahma compared to Durga, which is Shakti of the Lord. Durga is not ordinary living entity. It's a potency of the Lord. Shiva is not ordinary living entity. He's not born of the, enjoying desire like Jiva is, like us, not conditioned soul. So now we are discussing Brahma here. So immediately Chaitanya Charitamrita, as always we discuss, clarifies this, that who becomes Brahma? If you practice Bhakti Mishra Bhakti, you may become Brahma because you got so much piety, but still there is attachment to material world. So risk is there. Another place, Srila Prabhupada said that if we chant Hare Krishna and so, but we maintain material desires, we may become devatas, demigods in next life. So there is a risk. Somebody is smiling. Don't smile. Okay, so purport, Prabhupada explains. The Garbhodakasha Vishnu, Purusha Avatar, expansion Lord Vishnu, accepts the material modes, Sattva Gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. We know from Garbhodakasha Vishnu, other three Gunavatars are expanded, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And thus, incarnates as Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. These are incarnations of material qualities. Among the many superior living entities qualified with pious activities and devotional service, one, called Lord Brahma, is infused with the quality of passion by the supreme will of Garbhodakasha Vishnu. Thus, Lord Brahma becomes the incarnation of the creative energy of the Lord. So this is how pious living entity, the most pious living entity in the universe is chosen to become Brahma. So here, Chaitanya Charitamrita continues explaining, if in Kalpa suitable living entity is not available to take charge of Brahma's post, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself personally expands and becomes Lord Brahma. So this is what we were reading in the purport by Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, basically. So Prabhupada writes in the purport here, one day of Brahma consists of the 4 yugas, multiplied 1,000 times, or according to solar calculation, 4,320 million years. And such also is the duration of his night. 1 year of Brahma's life consists of 360 such a days and nights, and Brahma lives for 100 such a years. Such is the life of Brahma. Brahma Vavarta Purana says Brahma lives 108 years precisely. So anyway, now why is this given in the purport? To explain you how exalted position Brahma has. Again, what strikes you are 2 things in these calculations. I was thinking why many places Prabhupada gives this calculation. Now you have to calculate actually, 4,320 millions is 1 day and then 1 night. So by 2, multiply by 2. How much is it? Then multiply by 360 because then you get 1 year. This is out of the range of ordinary calculator. Okay, and then you multiply by 100 because 100 years. Okay, so first strikes you, wow, what a post of Brahma. Correct? First you think like this, oh, he lives so long. This is amazing. What a post of Brahma. We are just like a flies, come and go. Some night flies, they don't see the day sunlight at all. Night they are born and before the sun rises, already they die. So we are like this to Brahma. So you think, what an impressive thing, Brahma. But then what strikes you? Still these numbers are telling you there is end to it also. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino. Whatever number is there, add another 340, give him blessing, another 100 years, Let him live 500 years. Let him live 1,000 Brahmas years. Still, you are not eternal. Still, you have to die. Still, you have to go through repeated birth and death. So what is the use? What is the use? That's 2 things really can strike you from this. So, Srila Sanatana Goswami Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam and gives commentary on few shlokas describing the Brahma. We all know Brahma is born from the lotus growing from the navel of the Supreme Lord, and is therefore called Swayambhu, self-manifested. Not exactly manifested from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, but not born like ordinary jiva from mother and father in that sense. Father was there. Mother was also there, but mother was not engaged, Prabhupada said. Lakshmi was there, but without help of Lakshmi ji, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu creates Brahma. So he is called Swayambhu, self-manifested. Or one who is born without father and mother. He occupies the highest post of authority, maintains, okay, these are some definitions of his functions. Highest post of authority. Brahma is the first created living being, and he creates everyone else. So he's the oldest. He's the main. Maintains the living entities of the universe by giving them occupational duties. Remember, when he creates one by one, first Manasi Putras, he created, given, you do this, you do this, you do this, no? Rudra was born. What shall I do? What is my position? What is my name? What is my loka? Where do I live? And what is my function? What is my duty? To everyone, Brahma gives like this. So this is what Brahma does. And guides them by initiating the study of the Vedas. Remember, 4 Vedas manifest from the mouth of Brahma. And then he delegates to his sons, Veda Shakas, and they go on Manasaputras, all the rishis, and then they go on expanding. So he makes sure that people are educated. What is the purpose of this creation? You are created, you got your post. What is the purpose? Purpose is to come out of it, ultimately. So he gives the duties, he gives the forms, he gives the place. He explains everything, what is what. And if you don't do, he also explains what is karma, what is akarma, vikarma, everything, which teach the principles of progressive civilized life. So this is the summary, progressive spiritual life. Prabhupada discussed so many places. What is a progress? Having cell phone is a progress. Having rockets to go to the moon is a progress. No, progress is to come out of material world. That's the progress. Progress is control mind of the senses. That's the progress. Progress is from cats and dog civilization to human civilization. Prabhupada said, unless you follow 4 regulative principles, you're not even human being. Why is a question discussing about God? First, you become human being. So these are all clear to Brahma, and he teaches it. He prominates this knowledge. He emanates the knowledge. He establishes the Dharma in the society. Okay, then Srila Sanatana Goswami explains. From his, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel, appears lotus stem, from which all the forms and configurations of material existence will be manifest. So the lotus stem is building material of all the universe and everyone's bodies also, subtle and gross. And at the top of the stem grows a flower where Brahma, the chief engineer of creation, is born. Brahma discovered inside the lotus stem of his birth the detailed plans of creation. Within the lotus stem, there's detailed plans of creation. He did not make the plan. This is Hiranyagarbha. This is the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's mind's concept. His desire, his thought. He had a thought, should look like this. And that was imprinted in Brahma's design in creation. Brahma, you take his, every engineer you ask, where is the blueprint? Engineer is engineer, one who builds, but the architect is one who designs. Correct? And the owner is one who orders architect to design, who has the money to build, who mobilizes everything. No? So this is how it works. So here, he quotes immediately from Bhagavatam. Brahma saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe. Lotus was spread throughout the universe. So the stem went all around the universe. And the lotus is so big also. The Brahma Loka occupies most of the universe. Half is filled with Garbha ocean, half is occupied by Brahma. Brahma Loka is so big. And then other planets, smaller, tiny, insignificant planet. This is how it goes. And he contemplated how to create all the planets which were previously merged in that very same lotus. So means on previous pralaya. Thus engaged in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma entered into the wall of the lotus as it spread all over the universe, and he divided it into 3 divisions. Bhurbhuva Swa, that was first 3 divisions divided, and later into 14 divisions. Then is divided into Satyaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka, Swar, Bhuvar, Bhu, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. 14 planetary systems. And then, now what happens in the day of Brahma? One day of Brahma is so long. Brahma created the rishis. He created the devatas. Basically, he created first the rishis, and then he created Prajapatis. When Kumaras refused, 4 Kumaras, they refused to do the progeny. Brahma created universe. Now he has to fill it with jivas. So somebody has to do the progeny, accommodate the bodies for the jivas to come. And 4 Kumaras refused to do so, being Jnana Shakti, being empowered by the transcendental knowledge, being self-realized soul. They did not want to grow up because they know we grow up, then we become attracted to the opposite sex, then we got entangled, then punarapijanam, punarapinaram, forget it. We are not going to grow up. They had the power to stop their growth, actually. So this is very amazing because in child, the lust is not manifested. You can see children, small children walking around naked or dressed. They don't, everything is same for them. And they don't disturb anybody unless one is sick person, disease. So they refuse basically to do the progeny. So Brahma was thinking, what to do now? Then Prajapatis were manifested, male and female form. And then you have Prajapatis like Kashyapa, Diti, Aditi. You have all Kardama Muni. You have Daksha. You have all list of Prajapatis. Who are these? These are mothers and fathers of Devatas and of Asuras and of the trees and of the species and all animals. Everything is born from them. So then, this is how Brahma appoints everyone. So now Brahma is the highest. Then comes Prajapatis, who lives on Maharloka, Janaloka, and all the rishis live in those planets too. Then comes Indraloka. So as you go down, the span of life is shorter. The quality of bodies are less. The intelligence is less. The mind is to the lesser degree compared to Brahma. The abilities, the Shakti, the mystic powers, the subtlety of the understanding of Dharma, everything is getting degraded. Lower you go, everything becomes more and more gross. So what happens? The hierarchy is like this. So in one day of Brahma, 14 times in each day of Brahma, different Indras, sages, demigods, Manu, sons of Manu, and special incarnations, Supreme Lord come and go. Brahma sees in one day 14 Manus ruling after them. He sees 14 Indras exchange. In one day, he sees 14 Indras, and he sees same thing. I'm the Indra, I'm enjoyer, and Shine Punya Martya Loka Mishanti. Then again, I'm the Indra, I'll conquer, then Indra runs away. 14 times a day he sees this. He's not impressed. He different perception. The Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu, compared to Devatas, they are Bhagavans for them. They are so much different. It's not that Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra, Agni, Vayu, everything in the same basket. It's not like that. This is big difference, big difference. No? Even Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj mentioned in one class that Urvashi was created on Brahma Loka, on Satya Loka. She was sent to Indra from Satya Loka. She sees in one day of Brahma 14 Indras, and the Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj, she was not impressed by Indra's advances. Already 13 before you did the same thing, the same story they told, the same song they sung, the same flowers they gave me, unimpressed, because it's different, completely different category, different consciousness, different understanding, perception of the world, different body, different mind, different intelligence, more subtle, almost spiritual, but still material body. Okay, so here shloka is given in Bhagavatam, 12th canto. In each reign of Manu, 6 manifestation Lord Hari appear, Manvantaras, no? Indra appears, the chief demigods, ruling Manu, sons of Manu, great sages, and partial incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these 6, they go 14 times in the day of Brahma. He has to appoint them. He has to tell them what to do. He explains them the nature. He gives them powers to perform their function. Brahma is busy. He is the creator of the planets and the rulers. He assigns them. He is the world's chief protector, the dispenser of the fruits of karma. And at the onset, on his night, the destroyer of the world. Because every day Brahma goes to sleep, there is partial pralaya. Not full pralaya. When Brahma dies, all the universe is flooded, but partial pralaya comes. So there is even small pralaya at the end of the day, at the end of the life of each Manu. The lower planetary system up to the earth, they are flooded at the end of the life of each Manu, means 14 times a day of Brahma. Then comes at the night of Brahma, Burbu or Swa are flooded. Every day Brahma has to create, partially recreate, repair the universe. Again, assign different posts, different people like that, And then Satya Loka, Mahaloka Jana, they are also destroyed at the end of the life of Brahma. So, purport there in this shloka, Bhagavatam. At the beginning of each day of his life, Lord Brahma appoints qualified candidates to serve as Indra, sages, Prajapatis, and other demigods. At the beginning of each day of his life. Also, he protects the universe from chaos by establishing Vedic sacrifices and the social laws for individual classes of human beings. Varnashrama, basically. Thus, Brahma not only creates the universe, but maintains it as well. Indra also says, Indra is glorifying here, this is from Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Indra also said that he destroys it, because when Lord Brahma goes to sleep at night, a break in his meditation partially devastates the universe. Just because he is not attentive for a few hours, already the universe starts collapsing and becoming destroyed. So look at the power of Brahma, look at the position of Brahma. And Brahma has his devotees. One of the famous is Hiranyakashipu. Okay, so here, when Hiranyakashipu worshipped Brahma with the demoniac aim of subverting the universal order, he glorified Brahma similarly. Now look how he glorified Brahma. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto. If you read these prayers, it's a little bit disturbing. Hey, this is glorifying Supreme Lord, come on. Okay, see the position of Brahma. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord within this universe. Okay. But you see how specific. Supreme Lord within this universe. Now Hiranyakashipu did not accept Vishnu is supreme. So he said, Brahma is injuring, Brahma is supreme. He established the Brahma is Supreme Lord, but he was specific within the universe. At the end of each day of his life, the universe is fully covered with dense darkness by the influence of time. And then again, during his next day, the self-effulgent Lord, by his own effulgence. But that's not true, Hiranyakashipu. Not by his own effulgence. Surya Kanta. Remember the example? The reflection of the power of Krishna comes into him. And this is the demon. This is the misunderstanding. Yastu Narayam Devam Brahma Rudrati Devata Samatvena Vikshit. Ye Pashandi Bhavedruvam. Pashandi. Pashandi is atheist, offender, actually offender. If you think that Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu are equal, Samatvena, then you are offender. So this is Hiranyakashipu's prayers. No? Okay. By his own effulgence, manifests, maintains, and destroys the entire cosmic manifestation through the material energy, which is invested with the three modes of material nature. He, Lord Brahma, is the shelter of those modes of nature, Sattagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. So look at the prayer. And also, whatever he says is true in one sense. Because Brahma is empowered, now he is doing it. He is doing, but his own intelligence, by his own work, but those powers were given by Krishna, by Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, particularly, by Krishna at the beginning of creation. His planet, called Satyaloka, stands above all others. It is achieved by persons who have done their prescribed duties purely for 100 lifetimes. Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga can attain Brahmaloka. And this is later, it will be quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, also the same thing. You have to do their prescribed duties, means Varnashrama duties, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Your prescribed duties, you do in your particular Varna, as a Grihast, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, or Sannyas. 100 lifetimes, then you become Brahma. So it's not easy to become Brahma. Within Satya Loka, within Brahma Loka, there is Vaikuntha planet inside of Satya Loka, where the 1,000-headed divine Lord of the universe is always present as Mahapurusha. Brahma always worships Lord in Satya Loka. As the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, massaged his feet, he glanced at Garuda, who stood before him with joined palms. Lord Brahma worshipped the Lord with opulent offerings, and in turn, the Lord amply gratified him. The Lord Mahapurusha was also attentive to Sri Narada's display of loving devotion. So Narada Muni is there, Garuda is there, Brahma is there. Always they worship Mahapurusha, Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu there. The resplendent Lord Mahapurusha, with his own most excellent residence, instructed Brahma, who sat on the lotus beside him. So then, Lord has his own palace in Brahma Loka. Within Brahma Loka, there is that Vaikuntha planet, which is not destroyed when Pralaya comes. The Lord calls Brahma in his house and instructs him. The Lord patiently explained to Brahma step by step the greatest of mysteries, the essential truths of the revealed scriptures, the path of devotional service to himself. So this is in Brihad Bhagavatamrita explained by Sanatana Goswami. Hearing these matters, four-headed Brahma, overwhelmed by vast treasure of transcendental joy, quietly repeated and agreed with each point he was taught, and then offered his respects again and again at the feet of the Lord. Daily Lord Brahma sees Vishnu, not other devatas, not exactly that all devatas see every day the Lord. No, but Brahma every day, not sees. He worships him, spends time, and Lord says, come, sit here, I'll tell you what is the Dharma, what is the truth, what is Bhakti, what is this, what is that. Lord Mahapurusha on Brahma Loka, descriptions, look at this, consumes the offerings made in sacrifice, which resemble a constantly flowing river, because on Brahma Loka, so many sacrifices are always being performed. Thanks to the Lord's being satisfied by these offerings, the inhabitants of Brahma's plains are perpetually blissful. So this is described in Shastra that Brahma Loka, this hunger, thirst, all these things is not there. Although it is material planet, fear is not there, tension is not there, anger is not there. All these vices, all these disturbances that we experience in material, not in Brahma Loka. Why? Because Mahapurusha is worshipped there, Vishnu. It is true that Lord Mahapurusha is sometimes absent when he merges into Krishna to join him in Mathuradam on earth. And the ecstasy on Brahma Loka is accordingly interrupted. But time on Brahma Loka is so expansive that the duration of Krishna's descent is barely noticeable. Because time on Mathura, Vrindavan pastimes, when Krishna performs, when Krishna comes, all the forms comes with him. So if Mahapurusha is a little absent from Brahma Loka, that is for a few seconds. Remember, Brahma stolen the gopas and calves from Krishna and Krishna Leela. Look around, put them in some secret cave place, and look back. This was a moment. Just look up, look down. 1 year was gone in Vrindavan. Same thing, we know this gradation of time when Lord, father of Lord Balaram, was looking for alliance, and that time the Revati Devi was kept from Satya Yuga on Brahma Loka to wait for Balaram to appear in Dwapara Yuga to marry her. So when king father of Revati was looking for the suitable husband for his daughter, he went all over the universe. He came to Brahma Loka, and Brahma said, yes, Lord Balaramji will come and marry your daughter. So he said, great, I'm going down back to the earth and organize marriage. And he said, I will invite all my relatives. And he said, they're all dead. The many generations have gone. You have no clue. You came to Brahma Loka, time on earth was going fast, So when Balaramji came and married her, she had the form of Satya. She was huge. in size. And then Balaramji took his plow and reduced the size, medium size. His size. So, in effect, on Brahmaloka, Mahapurush is seen constantly because they're just short fragments of time. Okay, these are little side issues, I admit, but we have something more to discuss. Okay, let me skip a little bit. We have many details, but time is very short. Okay, somebody may ask that why Brahma then goes to the bank of the Kshira ocean if Mahapurusha is always on his planet. There are different reasons. One reason is that he doesn't want Mahapurusha to leave. If some complain, then the Lord will go somewhere, so we don't want the Lord to go. So he goes to Kshiradakashai Vishnu, let him, you go somewhere. I want to be with my Lord. Yeah? And also the inaccessibility of Brahma Loka to other devatas, that's also the issue, So like that. Anyway, so now the question is here. How can one become Lord Brahma? First one we heard from Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you practice Mishra Bhakti, we may get stuck, become Lord Brahma. How to become Brahma? So Prabhupada confirms the same first. Now, what is the constitution of Brahma? Brahma. Just there are so many innumerable living entities. If some of them, they are devotee, but they want to enjoy this material world. They want to enjoy. So they are devotee for taking some favor from God and want to enjoy this material world. He is called Brahma. Brahma's constitutional position is that. So Brahma is devotee, but devatas are not considered pure devotees. Now Brahma may become pure devotee. As you can see, he was practicing tapasya, he was practicing the arts of Krishna Bhakti, and then he became pure devotee. Soon as you are born in material world, you had some material desire. This is the issue. This is the point. Okay, see this. Prabhupada says at another place, and anyone who has got little interest in material enjoyment, he is not fit for Bhagavad Bhajan. He'll have to accept again this material body. Either that becomes Brahma or becomes an ant in the stool, according to his karma. Anybody. So this is the warning. This is the warning to all devotees, not to expect material reward for devotional service. Do not expect. I'm serving so much, they are not recognizing. I'm serving so much, I'm not getting any money. I worship you, God, I'm not getting good job. I worship you, Lord, I'm not getting good wife. These are not, then what is ahitukiya pratihata? What's the point? We are missing the point. We may get stuck in material world as a Brahman or as an ant in the stool. Okay, so now in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva explains to Prachetas who can become Brahma. Swadharmanishta, Shata Janma Vibhuman. Person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. Same thing what was mentioned before, no? If you do your Varnashram duty for 100 lifetimes, you become Brahma. So by perfect karma yoga, you can become Brahma. And if you become more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. You see, it doesn't say you can become Lord Shiva. You cannot become Lord Shiva, but you can get Shiva's association in Kailash or in any other abode of Lord Shiva. Person who is directly surrendered to Krishna or Vishnu is unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of material world. Yes, if they are devotees. That is condition. The position of Brahma earned by pious workers, karma yogi, normally consists in being an associate of Brahma. So not that every karma yogi who is perfect in that he will become Brahma. He can achieve Brahma Loka and become associate of Brahma. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains this. It's not guaranteed that you'll become Brahma. Even after 100 lifetimes of perfectly performing duty, the best person will be chosen. So you may become associate of Brahma, which is great. So receiving our universe one's own to rule is much more rare. It's very rare to become Brahma. Even if you perform this 100 lifetimes, not 100 years, 100 lifetimes, 100 times 100 years, So This is explained. So now Srila Sanatana Goswami classifies this statement by saying that it's specifically, it's rare to become Brahma. But there are other ways to become Brahma. Srila Prabhupada explains in 9th canto, both the Lord and the living entity, being qualitatively spirit souls, have the tendency for peaceful enjoyment. But when the part of Supreme Personality of Godhead unfortunately wants to enjoy independently without Krishna, he is put into the material world, where he begins his life as Brahma and is gradually degraded to the status of an ant or a worm in the stool. So you can see that when Jiva comes down from the spiritual world, becomes first Brahma. This is explained here. No? Unfortunately wants to enjoy independently, he is put into the material world. So we are not talking about Jiva who is in material world want to enjoy. He's talking about, okay, here. In the conversation, Prabhupada confirms this, another place. Krishna is there. Therefore, the whole cosmic manifestation has come about. Aham eva sam eva. And at the end of the creation, Krishna is there. Similarly, at the end of this body, I am there. Again, I'll create another body. That's going on. So Prabhupada is explaining, just like this body exists because soul is eternally there, soul is present, body becomes alive, and when soul leaves, body collapses. So same thing, universe is created when Paramatma enters in Krishna, and when Krishna withdraws, all universe, pralaya, everything collapses. So that was the topic. So now Harikesh says, is Krishna strict just to give us this facility? Krishna is strict to create material world to give us this facility, basically. Huh? This is Krishna strict just to give us facility. Prabhupada, because I wanted it. Krishna doesn't want it. But because you are rascals, we wanted it. Krishna, all right, do it. So by our desire, we came to material world. So therefore, in the beginning, Krishna gives you the big post, Brahma. Prabhupada says, yes. So now you are in charge of creating whole universe. Yes, if you want to lord it over, all right, you become Brahma. He gives so much facility. It's because of desire of living entity Bhagavan is put. It's not that why Bhagavan put us in material world. We wanted. You can't blame God. You cannot blame God that we are born in material world. It's our desire, not Krishna's desire. And then Harikesh says, and then this Brahma creates so many different desires. And then he goes through all the different bodies. Prabhupada says, yes. Akshayananda asks, everyone becomes Brahma first. Prabhupada says, huh? Yes. Or if you want to be a cat, you can become. But first is offered that pose, quickly you can go home back to it. But Prabhupada confirms, everyone becomes Brahma. Yes. So, dear Brahmās, we were all Brahmās. What a Maya is so powerful, no? It's amazing. Okay, so Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur says this also. You know, sometimes our devotees are arguing. Prabhupada said, but nobody, no other Acharya says, but all other Acharya says the same thing. Look at this. The question was asked. Okay, see here, Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur's quote. The living entity, averse to the Lord, first becomes Brahma and then a human being. The fallen soul first becomes Brahma. Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur speaks. In order to enjoy Maya, many living entities took birth as Brahma's sons. Also, because this is very big position. In order to enjoy Maya, many living entities took birth as their sons. Prajapatis, Daksha, and Parthi. No, they won't. Yeah. Among them, a number were entrusted with responsibility to create progeny, Prajapatis. As soon as the living entity proudly considers himself an enjoyer, he becomes conditioned by Maya. By trying to become the Lord of Maya in the material kingdom, he ends up as her servant. Look at Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur's clear message, very precise. No? While trying to become Lord of Maya, enjoying, we become her servants. Bang, finish. No? So again, another place, Srila Sanatana Goswami explains who else can become Brahma. Authorized scriptures state that persons like Vasishtha, who are certainly finer jivas, will become Lord Brahma in their own universe in future lives. Theoretically, any jiva soul can attain the post of Brahma. So who is Vasishtha? It's a great sage, it's a rishi, it's a tapasvi, it's a pious living being. So he will become Brahma and get his own universe to rule. These are the qualified souls to become Brahma. Okay? Okay. Now, you will find in the shlokas in Gita, Prabhupada quotes also the end of life of Brahma, from Brahma Loka, Brahma and all his associates, they go to Vaikuntha. But that is condition, provided that Brahma is devotee and they are devotees. It's not automatically every Brahma goes to Vaikuntha. For example, here the Prabhupada gives this example in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. Person who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, the plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakasha Vishnu, do not directly approach Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha. They remain within this universe on Satya Loka or other higher planets until the end of the life of Brahma. Then with Brahma, they are elevated to spiritual kingdom. Okay, so worshippers of Vishnu, worshippers of Hiranyagarbha form, particularly, they may come to Satya Loka and then with Brahma go to spiritual kingdom. But this refers if they are devotees, because another shloka is quoted from Bhagavatam and the 3rd canto. Look at this. My dear mother, I think this is Kapiladev speaking. Someone may worship Supreme Personality of Godhead with a special self-interest. But even demigods such as Lord Brahma, great sages such as Sanat Kumar, and great munis such as Marichi have to come back to material world again at the time of creation. When the interaction of the three modes of material nature begins, Brahma, who is the creator of this cosmic manifestation and who is full of Vedic knowledge, and the great sages who are the authors of spiritual path and the yoga system, come back under the influence of the time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and they attain the first incarnation of the Purusha. What is the first incarnation of Purusha? First Purusha avatar is Mahavishnu. They go back when Pralaya comes, all the elements, all the jivas, all whoever is in material world who did not get liberation, they all go back into the body of Mahavishnu. From pores of his skins, his effulgence, millions of jivas are coming out of his body. From his eyes, millions of jivas are coming, the shining effulgence. No? So all this Brahma, everybody goes back, and then, but at the time of creation, they come back in exactly the same forms and position as they had previously. So here is an example of Brahma who, at the end of Pralaya, does not go to Vaikuntha, but comes back to material world. Prabhupada explains. Brahma is called here Adya Sthira Charanam. Adya, the first. He is the original, first created living entity. After his own birth, he creates the entire cosmic manifestation. He was fully instructed in matter of creation by the Supreme Lord. He is called Vedagarbha, which means that he knows the complete purpose of the Vedas. He is always accompanied by such great personalities, Marichi, Kashyapa, and the 7 sages, as well as the great mystic yogis, the Kumaras, and many other spiritually advanced living entities. But he has his own interest, separate from Lord's. Here Shloka says, Bheda Drishtya. Veda Drishtya. Veda means to see difference, Drishya, to see our own interest separately from the Lord's interest. That Brahma gets stuck back into material world. Means that Brahma sometimes thinks that he is independent of Supreme Lord, or he thinks of himself as one of the 3 equally independent incarnations. Either he thinks himself independent from Vishnu, or he thinks, I'm equal to Vishnu. Both are binding forces. Because of both reasons, he has to come back in next creation. Brahma is entrusted with creation, Vishnu maintains, and Rudra Shiva destroys. The 3 of them are understood to be incarnation of Supreme Lord in charge of 3 different material modes of nature, but none of them is independent of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here the word Bheda Drishya occurs because Brahma has a slight inclination to think that he is as independent as Rudra. Even if he thinks that I'm as independent as Rudra, as a Shiva Tattva, that also binds it. What to speak of, I'm equal to Vishnu. Now look at the problem in material world. Sometimes Brahma thinks that he is independent of Supreme Lord, and the worshipper also thinks that Brahma is independent. Now you have these people who worship Brahma thinking he is Bhagavan. In India, not many temples of Brahma, but you have in Thailand and in all these Indonesian places, everybody worships Brahma, some form of Brahma, some or other. I don't know why. It's very prominent there. No? So worshipper also think he's independent. For this reason, after the destruction of this material world, when there is again creation by the interaction of the material modes of nature, Brahma comes back. Although Brahma reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, who is full with transcendent qualities, he cannot stay in the spiritual world. No? So don't take for granted, I become Brahma, I'll go home back to Godhead. Or even I become initiated in ISKCON, I join ISKCON, I'll go home back to Godhead, for granted. No, it's not for granted. It's about purification. It's about devotion. Unless we develop love of God, that means we still have love for Maya. So whatever yam yam vapis marambam, whatever is our affection given to, there we'll take birth there. It's not automatically, it's not mechanical. I just join ISKCON, I become, even some people think, I become life member of ISKCON, I'll go home back to God. But life member means you become active, don't be dead member. You must be life member. There's a chant, you must follow principles, you must serve Krishna, dedicate in pure devotion service. So nothing goes automatically, that's the message. So Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur summarizes these points. Okay, he clarifies very nicely. This is from 11th Canto Bhagavatam commentaries. If even Lord Brahma cannot enter the kingdom of God without surrendering to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what to speak of other so-called pious or expert non-devotees? No, even Brahma, if he is not pure devotee, he cannot go home back to God. In this regard, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has pointed out that there are three categories within status of Brahma, namely those of karmi, jnani, and devotee. So you see, very clear, no? Those pious activities, you become Brahma, you're not devotee, you're just pious, you become Brahma. A Brahma who is the most exalted karmi of the universe will have to come back to material world. A living entity who has achieved post of Brahma by being greatest speculative philosopher, jnani, within the universe may attain in personal liberation. He may join into Brahman, but not to go home back to Godhead. And a living entity who has become awarded post of Brahma due to being great devotee enters into personal abode of the Lord. But again, that one intermediate category is also there. In Srimad Bhagavatam, yet another case is described. A Brahma who is devotee of Lord, but who has tendency to himself independent or equal to Lord, may achieve Mahavishnu's abode at time of annihilation, but when creation begins, he has to return back. So even devotee, if it's Mishra Bhakti, then he has to come back, if it's a little bit misunderstanding. So this is, so we know we know that Krishna is supreme, Krishna is superior, and that Lord Balaramji declares when Kauravas were in tension with Lord Brahma, you know, first there was some discussion on Samba's marriage, and the first Kauravas did not listen to Lord Balaram. They insulted Krishna, they insulted Balaram. So Lord Balaram replied that time, he says, you are criticizing Krishna. What is the value of throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of various planetary systems, because they were claiming, we are Kauravas, we are emperors, and we given you power, Yadavas and Vishnus, you know, to reign over that, you know, particular land. We given you permit, we given you power, and now you are, you know, treating us like, who is in charge? We are Kauravas, you are Yadavas. Kauravas are emperors of the world, not Yadavas. Be placed in your place. Why you are aspiring for the throne? So Balaramji is shouting, what is value of throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That thus makes the holy places sacred. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, I myself, who are all portions of his plenary portions, eternally carry out the dust on our heads. What throne of Krishna? He doesn't need any throne. All universe is subordinate, and you Kauravas think you will not be subordinate. And he do plow and show his power, pulling all the Hastinapur in the Yamuna. This is Balaramji's power. So here he explains what is Brahma's position. He is happily to put dust of Krishna's feet on his head. of course, Brahma himself declares this position. Look at this beautiful shlokas from Bhagavatam. What I am, a small creature measuring 7 spans of my own hand. This is really humble statement by Brahma. I'm enclosed in pot-like universe composed of material nature, the total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. Look, you understand how he's really humbly speaking now. He's humbled. This is after Brahma offered prayers, after all this Brahma Vimohana Lila. He understood, who am I? I'm a small creature measuring 7 spans of my own hand. You know the proportion of human body is the 7 spans on your hand is your height. This is how in arts we measure. You know, when you draw something, this is how it is measured. It means who am I insignificant compared to you? And what I'm enclosed in pot-like universe, because universe is covered with the 7 layers. And what is the ingredients in the pot? It's not sambar. It's material nature, total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. And I'm in that pot of material energy, and I think I'm a very big person. I offended you. No? Brahma really describes. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the pores of your body just as particles of dust pass through the openings of screened window. So Brahma himself declares, who is, supreme. So yes, Brahma manifested 4 Vedas from his mouth, but there is a catch to it also. Although the 4 Vedas are eternal, they enter the material world periodically at the beginning of each day of Brahma. At the beginning of each day of Brahma, all 4 Vedas manifest again and again because Pralaya has happened. When one Veda appears from each of his 4 mouths, Brahma therefore is not the author of the Vedas, which includes all spiritual and material knowledge, but is Adi Kavi, the first authority on Vedic knowledge in this universe. So Brahma did not create the Vedas. He did not write the Vedas. They manifested through him. And he became first one who knows them, Adi Kavi. So Brahma Hridayadi Kavaya. Brahma means Vedic knowledge. Brahma Hridayadi Kavaya. That's described Bhagavatam. Okay, so we are just discussing. So we know that Brahma is one of 12 Mahajanas, correct? Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. And we know that Brahma is head of the Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishya Sampradaya. So the question always comes, many times we get this question, how then Bhagavatam describes that he ran after his own daughter? He created a beautiful form of lady and he could not control his mind. He went on running after her, which is big embarrassment for such a post as a Brahma. No. So the answers are given in different ways. Here is Srila Prabhupada's answer to that question. Everyone in this material world has come with these lusty desires and greediness. So whoever is born, even Brahma, has some material desires. Even demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. The Lord Brahma became lusty after his daughter, and Lord Shiva became so mad after Mohini Murti. So what to speak of us, insignificant creatures? So lusty desire is there. That's material world. Unless one is fully Krishna conscious, the lusty desire cannot be checked. It is not possible. Ganesh is asked. So how is it that Lord Brahma is a pure devotee? No, he's not pure devotee. He's not. Anyone who is in this material world, he is not pure devotee. He has to become a pure devotee. But they are pure devotees. They come. They are not subjected to all this. Now, when pure devotees actually come from spiritual world, sent, like yesterday we were discussing Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada, these are higher than Devatas. They are higher than Brahma because they are not subject to all this. They are not subject to all this. They are free from 4 mistakes. Brahma, Vipralisa, Karna, Pratap, Pramad. They are free from lust, anger, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, moha. They are transcendental personality. Brahma, Bhuta, Prasanatma, Na Shocha. They are the pure devotees. There is a big difference. Devatas are Mishra Bhaktas. They want to worship Lord and they also practice bhakti. They want to worship Lord. They want to enjoy material world also simultaneously, but not the pure devotees. They come for the deliverance of the fallen souls. They are above Lord Brahma and Shiva. Look at this. So Janardhan is asking, so Srila Prabhupada, isn't Lord Brahma the original spiritual master in our sampradaya? Yes, but we should take that it was his leela to show why Brahma ran after his daughter. Even I'm subjected. How much you should take risk? We should not take him that he was subjected to lust and desire, but he made up show. Even I'm also subject. And he gave up this, changed the body for that. Remember, he given up this sinful body and changed body. So he show example that even Brahma can be attracted. What about us? Don't play with fire. Therefore, we should not observe it if there is a show of fault of the Guru. So this is how to see Guru. Even if you see something like this, he's showing us example, he's teaching us. We should take a different way. Tejiyasam na doshaya. Tejiyasam na doshaya. There is no fault in the those who are effulgent, those who are pure, the high post. There's no fault in that. Just like the sun is soaking water from urine, but we should not imitate that. We also let us take urine. Then you'll die. He can do so. Tejiyasam na doshaya. The sun can do that. Still, he is not affected. Everyone knows the sun soaks water from urine, but should you imitate? Oh, let me take urine. No, it is not for you. That is advice. Ishwaranam. Those who are Ishwaras, controllers, there is no fault. You should not imitate them. Simply, you should imitate their instruction. Not that there are activities which you may not understand why he is doing that. So this is one of explanation how to see that thing. If I remember, Srila Jiva Goswami explains another place that the Brahma of Brahma-saṁhitā, who is devotee, is different from Brahma who was running after his daughter. So they are different Jivas Brahma because some are karmis, some are gyanis, some are devotees, some are Mishra Bhaktas. So may refer also to different person. Okay, so we have some lessons to learn from this Brahma's post. This material world is so contaminous that even Lord Brahma has to purify himself by austerities for many hundreds of years. So this is the point. Even if Brahma was devotee of the Lord who had little material desires, he has to purify himself by austerities. And this is what is described at the beginning of creation. He sat down, he did austerities, he became pure, and the spiritual world, Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha, was revealed to him. I'm just trying to bring this point. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so kind that for purification of Brahma's body, he had to take so many years under the severe austerities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because we are so much fallen, not to compare with Brahma, very, very fallen, still he gave us a little formula. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalavnastyo, Nastyo, Nastyo, Gatiranyata. Even Brahma has to take 1,000 years of austerity to purify himself. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are some lessons to learn. Let me see. Yeah, a few more quotes are there. Okay, what else we learn from Brahma? Look how Prabhupada uses this Brahma's example. This is in letter Prabhupada writes to Janaki Mataji. Regarding your questions, as Brahma realized that he was the maidservant of Krishna, similarly, everyone of us has to realize that Krishna is the only single Purusha. Purusha synonymously means male, but actually in the spiritual dictionary, male means enjoyer and female means enjoyed. Purusha means enjoyer. Govindam Adi Purusham, the supreme enjoyer. Means everything is meant for his service. All of us are meant for his service. All are Prakriti. We are Tatastha Shakti, Prakriti. Shakti means Prakriti. And material world is Jada Shakti, Prakriti. So Prakriti is using Krishna service. If we are engaged in Krishna service, we use flowers, temple, vehicles, computers, everything Krishna service. This is the nature of Prakriti. Then we are situated in our constitutional position. He is Adi Purusha, supreme enjoyer. So in this sense, Krishna is the only male and all others being energies of Krishna, they are Prakriti or female. Basically, we are all females. So what is this female liberation movement? We want equal rights to men. We don't want. We want to become females. All men want to become females. And all the females, they want to become male. Ultimate defeat of the women liberation movement. Please do not try to understand this male and female in material sense. In other words, our perfection life will be actually realizing that we are all females. That's it. We are all part of the female movement, female liberation movement. In the material world, we have got simply different races. Here in the material world, everyone is in temperament of male. What is temperament of male? Male is enjoying female. So temperament means I'm an enjoyer. So Prabhupada says in material world, everybody has this temperament of male, of enjoyer, whether in male or female body. Look at this. Even so-called females are also in the temperament because I want to enjoy, I want to enjoy, I want to enjoy. This is Purusha's mentality. I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve. This is Prakriti's mentality. Okay. This is very prominent in western part of the world, and you know it very well, how the females here think on the level of equality with males. This aptitude is material. Bang, big bang. Srila Prabhupada explains. 1969, he saw female liberation movement is coming. Go on. Okay, I'll stop here. It's already 9 o'clock. But many things are there. There are beautiful prayers by Brahma, we chant. That 14th chapter in 10th canto is mind-blowing, Brahma's prayer. These are one of the most beautiful prayers in Bhagavatam described. And many Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada gives more details of Lord Brahma's exalted and unique position. And his biggest glory is that he is devotee of Krishna. And through him, we got this revelation of Brahma-saṁhitā. We got this description of the spiritual world. So this is to conclude. Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.